Hi, my name's Alison Emery from Move with Awareness, and today I'm going to show you a seated somatic movement. This is something that we often do on the floor. It's called arch and flatten. It's really, really good for lower back pain, and I'm going to show you how you can transfer that movement into a seated position. Considering we spend so much time on computers these days, this is going to be something that's very beneficial that you can easily fit into your day. So you want to be sat on a chair that's about a dining room height. So a chair that you'd sit at your computer in would be perfect, or alternatively a dining chair. Make sure that your feet are flat on the floor and that your knees are, or that your legs are like at a 90-degree angle. So your thighs are at a 90-degree angle to your lower leg. And then place your hands either resting on your thighs or ideally just let them hang down by your side. And make sure that you're sitting towards the edge of the chair. You're not sitting back into the chair. You're sitting towards the edge of the chair, and find that point on top of your sit bones. So your sit bones are the points at the bottom of the pelvis that they feel bony. So try and find that bony sit bone and sit on top of it so that you're not sort of slumping back and you're not leaning forward. So just find that point, and that's going to be your central point. So before doing this movement, I just want to get our bearings. So we're going to do something called a seated clock. Now imagine that where your sit bones are, imagine that those sit bones are the centre of the clock, and the seat is the rest of the clock, and I'm going to introduce you to some numbers on that clock. I want you first of all just to roll your pelvis forward. So I'm not saying lean forward. I want the movement to come from here. I want you just to roll your pelvis forward, and that point is going to be 12 o'clock. When you do this, your bottom will stick out a little bit more and you might find it lifting off the chair a little bit. Come back on top of your sit bones, and now roll the pelvis back off your sit bones. And this is going to be 6 o'clock. This is causing a little bit of a slump, and then come back on top of your sit bones. So we've got the forward movement, rolling our pelvis forward to 12 o'clock, back on top of our sit bones, and then rolling back to 6 o'clock. So just get familiar with those two positions. Now I'm going to teach you the movement arch and flatten. What I'd like you to do is I want you just to roll your pelvis to 12 o'clock and just look up to the ceiling. Notice a point on the ceiling, and then come back, bring your head back and come back to the sit bones. Now I'd like you to do that again, but this time as you roll your pelvis forward to 12 o'clock and you look up to the ceiling, try and stick your belly and your chest out a little bit more and see if you can see more of the ceiling. And then slowly come back, bring your head back, and then bring your pelvis back. Now let's do that again. This time we're going to do it as we inhale. So I want you to take a breath in, and as you inhale, roll your pelvis forward, stick your belly out, breathe into your belly, stick your chest out, look up to the ceiling, and even bring your shoulders back. See if you can sense some tension now forming on the back of your body. Maybe your shoulder blades are coming closer to the spine. See if you can feel that. And then slowly, as you exhale, slowly release everything back down. Release those shoulder blades, bring your head back, and perch yourself back on top of those sit bones. Now, when you're in that position looking up to the ceiling, don't feel that you've got to hold your breath the whole time. Just continue to breathe. So let's do that again. Inhale, roll to 12 o'clock into your belly, stick your chest out, stick your head back and bring your shoulders back so that your shoulder blades are coming towards the spine. Pause for a moment and really sense that contraction. But as you pause, continue to breathe. And then on your next exhale, slowly come back out of that position. Slowly release your head back down. Slowly find your way back on top of your sit bones, back to your neutral. Now let's go the other way. So this time we're going to roll to 6 o'clock. So let's just do that for a minute. Just roll off your sit bones back to 6 o'clock and just notice what happens to your body as you do this. Notice how your rib cage comes down a little bit and how you sink in the center and then come back on top of your sit bones. So how could you make that even deeper? Try tucking your chin the next time you do it. See if you look down at your chest, whether you can sink your belly even deeper. So roll off your sit bones to 6 o'clock and look down at your chest or your belly. And then slowly come back, bring your pelvis back to your sit bones and bring your head back up. Now let's try that with the breath. Let's do this as we exhale. So take a breath in to prepare. And then as you exhale, sink your belly, roll to 6 o'clock off the sit bones, bring your chin to your chest. See if you can sense a tightening now in the front of the body. Can you sense some tightening here? And then slowly come back, releasing from the center. Come back onto your sit bones and bring your head back up to that neutral position. So let's just do that one more time. Take a breath in to prepare. And then as you exhale, roll to 6 o'clock. Bring your chest and ribcage down towards your pelvis. Sense that sinking. Bring your chin to your chest. Pause there for a moment, but continue to breathe. Now you're going into the red light reflex, what we'd call the red light reflex. This is the flatten. Sense your back flattening, even though it's not touching anything. See if it's flattening rather than arching. And then inhale to slowly come back, bringing your pelvis on top of those sit bones and your head so that you're facing forward. Now we're just going to flow between the two. I want you to inhale and arch. So just inhale, roll to 12 o'clock, look up to the ceiling, bring your shoulders back. Sense that tension in the back now. Now you're triggering the green light reflex. Now slowly release the muscles in the back. Bring your pelvis so that you're sat back on top of your sit bones and bring your head back to neutral. And then on your next exhale, sink in the center, sink your belly, bring your chin to your chest, roll your pelvis to 6 o'clock. Now you're tightening in the front of the body, the back of the body is lengthening at this point. And then as you inhale, inhale into the center to make yourself grow tall. Come back on top of your sit bones and bring your head back to center. And then just take a moment to notice how your body feels. Having done that arch and flatten, just notice how it compares now to how it felt at the beginning.